Hi guys, this is Kevin at NEXUS Coins and Bullion in Edmonton, Alberta. Today I want to talk to you about something very important. At least it's very important to me, and I think anybody that's in the precious metals community should want to hear what I have to say. This is just my opinion, but I've been thinking about this topic for a while, for about a month now. And it's about precious metals. Where do I think gold and silver is headed? Nobody has a crystal ball. All we can do is, stack precious metals over time. Don't get reckless. Don't jump in with both feet. If you dollar cost average, you're never going to get hurt. The people that get hurt are the ones that have that fear of missing out. They'll decide to just drop 50 grand all of a sudden, and they're buying at the top, and then, well, we all know what happens. Everything that goes up does eventually come back down. Anyways, I've been thinking about precious metals a lot lately. I watch a really good YouTube channel called Bald Guy Money. I really recommend you check him out. He has a new video every Sunday morning, and he's bang on with his predictions and what he has to say about the metals and investing overall. He's just not a gold or silver shill pushing a company or something like that. He is an investor. He's in real estate. He's in precious metals, and he gives his honest opinion, and he backs it up with charts and a lot of other interesting things. And I have a lot of respect for this guy, and he's shown that in the last 20 years, September is when metals go up. It's just a fact. So all summer I've been looking for a good entry point to put in a decent order, but the metals have been pretty strong. We had a correction just last Monday, we saw a $1 drop in silver, and I was tempted to pull the trigger then. But I was thinking, let's give it one more day. If it drops a little more, it's really going to help me out, because I'm looking to put a big order with one of my U.S. wholesalers. And a $1 drop could save me a lot. So, well, what happened? Silver rebounded, right? It dropped $1, but it's almost regained everything it lost in less than a week's time. It just goes to show how strong the metals are. Let's face it, there's a lot of economical issues in the world. We're not just talking Canada, we're talking everywhere. And these banksters, they just keep propping it up, prolonging this agony for everyone. And the longer this takes, the harder the crash is going to be, and a lot of people are going to get hurt financially. Just like in '08, a lot of people in the U.S., they lost their homes. I remember in 2012 looking at condos in, oh my goodness, it was Las Vegas. I could have bought a $20,000 condo. The housing market the bottom fell out on it. And I should have pulled the trigger, because now the real estate is rebounded. Truth is, in Canada, we haven't had our housing market crash yet. So, I don't know. Time shall show us what happens. But, who in Canada, like a new home buyer, who can afford to buy a house? They're so expensive now. Anyways, I'm getting a little off track. The thing is, we're in uncertain economic times. Possibility, you know, we have wars going on. Russia, Ukraine, Cambodia, Taiwan, I think. Like, things are bad out there, guys. Our governments make it think everything's okay, but you know, I just went to Costco yesterday and spent $350 on groceries, and I got very little. You know, steak is ridiculous. You know, buy a pack of steak, it's like $80. And our system is designed where the dollar devalues every year, right? Our governments have a 2% inflation rate that they try to adhere to every year, which means every year our dollar gets weaker, it buys less. And this has been happening for decades. Just look at how much, you know, once upon a time, a US $20 gold coin, you know, we were on a gold standard, and in the United States, you could take a US $20 gold coin and exchange it for a $20 bill. Well, now that $20 gold coin is worth how much in US dollar terms? I don't know, $3,200, $3,300? I don't follow the US prices, I do Canadian. Right now in Canadian, gold maples are selling for about $4,700. So what would you have rather kept a hold of, that $20 bill or that ounce of gold, which is now worth, I don't know, multiples of what it was back then? And like I said, it's not that gold is going up, it's just the dollar's going down. Inflation is killing the dollar. So precious metals, you know, let's not kid ourselves. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. You know, it's an insurance policy. It protects your money, right? Like, I like owning gold because it protects my purchasing power. Just look at a chart for the last 40 years. Gold has been steadily climbing over these decades. You know, of course it has corrections along the way, but it goes up. It protects your dollar. So if you've got cash just sitting in a bank, I hate to say this, but you're a fool. You should have it be sitting in precious metals and not in some IRA or, you know, a tax-free savings account or some third-party storage. You should own it physically. You know, hide it in your house in plain sight. Because if you got one of these crappy little safes, well, that's just, you're telling a robber that, hey, everything I own is in this little safe. Like, I would have a dummy safe, you know, I'd put fake stuff in my dummy safe, and I just hide my gold and silver in plain sight, right? Right now, the gold to silver ratio is 88 to 1. So it takes 88 ounces of silver to purchase 1 ounce of gold. Historically, that's pretty high. And not too long ago, like 2 months ago, I think the ratio was like 100 to 1. So silver's been gaining traction, and it's starting to outperform gold. And that's what happens in a bull market. Eventually, towards the end of a bull market, silver will start outperforming gold. And that's why silver is a good thing to be buying right now. I think historically the average for gold to silver ratio is like around 55 to 1, and we're at 88. You know, if you were to buy an ounce of gold today, or let's say 100 ounces of silver today, sorry, and the ratio is 88 to 1, well, if the ratio were to come down to 44 to 1, which is not unrealistic, it could happen. Well, your silver could buy you 2 ounces of gold. You could swap in your silver and get 2 ounces of gold. And that's what a lot of smart people do. Or people will just sell their silver, sell a little of their gold. We all have different reasons for buying it. For me, it's my savings account. And that's what makes, you know, if you buy low premium gold and silver when you can, it doesn't take much in the spot price to go up for you to at least break even on your investment or your savings, whichever term you want to use. I like to think of it as an investment as well, because I think in time it will make me money. So yeah, right now silver is a good buy. That said, I always felt gold is the safe and sturdy, reliable buy. You know, with gold, put it away, you never have to worry about it, ever. Silver, you got to watch it. So you got to be a little more astute as to what's going on. You want to keep track of the markets, the spot price, where are we with the gold to silver ratio, because at some point we will hit a top, and then it'll all crash, and silver will crash much harder than gold. So just food for thought. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big advocate of silver. I own both. I think Bald Guy Money, he recommends owning 80% gold, 20% silver, because silver is, it's kind of like your speculation play, you know, like, because it's very volatile. It can make huge runs and make you a lot of money, but like I said, you have to be on top of it. So yeah, all summer I've been thinking about when's a good time to place a large order. I've been waiting. And I'll tell you, if I'm just waiting for another $1 dip day, you know, and if that happens tomorrow, I'll be buying a nice chunk of silver. Because I think by the end of the summer, I believe what Bald Guy Money's saying. Metals are going to start to take off again. And who knows what that means? Will it be huge? Will it be gradual? It's definitely going up. That's just my opinion. Not financial advice. I know everybody likes to say that just as a disclaimer, and I'm saying it now myself. But yeah, it's interesting times. I think a lot of people are selling because they've been burned so many times in the past. And that's why you don't want to put everything into one basket. You know what I mean? Like, you buy precious metals because you've got some extra cash and you want to protect it. That's the function of precious metals, in my opinion. Even the wealthiest people out there, and I'm sure even Warren Buffett owns gold. He won't admit it, but you know, the filthy rich out there, they own about 5% gold. Because if everything were to crash, if the world went to hell in a handbasket, gold would go exponential, and all the losses you suffered in your house and your investments would be countered by that little bit of gold you owned. I remember hearing a story about a shoe shine boy back in, what was it, back in the Weimar Germany, around Second World War. You know, the German currency got hammered big time, and you know, people were using wheelbarrows to transport their cash, and people would be stealing the wheelbarrow and leaving the cash behind because that's how worthless their cash was. And this shoe shine boy, he worked in a big hotel, very fancy hotel. One day, a rich guy gave him like a gold coin as a tip. Like, and that would have been a lot of money back then. Long story short, things turned south, and that guy was able to use that gold coin and buy that hotel. I don't know if it's true. It's a story I heard way back when. You know, stories usually have an ounce of truth to them, but that's what can happen. You know, fiat becomes useless. And gold, well, why do central banks all over the world buy gold? Look at all the Eastern countries, China, Russia, India, they're all buying gold. Why? Because they've been through hard times. You know, they've been through currency revaluations, things like that. Look what happened to Greece. You know, they woke up one morning, they were told, oh, you can only take out so much money out of your ATM. Oh, by the way, your cash holdings are worth like 50% of what they used to be. That's just the kind of stuff that happens. And you don't have any warning. You just wake up you wake up on Monday morning and all this happens over the weekend. Anyways, I'm not trying to spread doom and gloom. Just giving you some inside information as to why I buy metals, and quite frankly, why I opened up my shop less than a year ago. People say, well, if you believe in gold and silver so much, why do you have a store? Why are you selling it? Why aren't you just buying and holding? Well, I do both, right? Why not make a little money in something I believe in, stock in it big time, you know? You know, my life savings is pretty much in my precious metals. And I'll buy and sell a little bit here and there as time goes on, but I'm not trying to get rich from it. I'm just doing it because it's something I love doing. And I feel very confident that in the end, when things do get bad, those that are holding precious metals, they'll make out like bandits. And so, yeah, I think there's still a couple of weeks left in the summer, and I'm hoping to make a purchase. I'm hoping for one more correction, and I'm going to jump in and buy a lot of silver. You know, so if you've been thinking about buying some silver or some gold, you got some cash you're sitting on, don't wait too long, you know, because it's amazing how fast things can get away from you. Like, look at platinum, for example. There was a time where platinum was twice the price of gold. And then they took it out of the catalytic converters. They switched over to palladium, I think. And the price of platinum, it tanked. You know, it's an industrial metal, right? It just tanked. It went from being twice the value of gold to 1/2 its value. And then, earlier this year, it was like 1/3 the value of gold. And it's a lot more rare than gold. But look what happened in the last couple of months. You know, it's gone up like $500. You know, you could buy for around, I don't know, 13 or 1400 Canadian, and now it's like 1900 Canadian. That's pretty crazy. And it's all done that in the last month or two. So the point I'm trying to make is when things finally start moving, they move fast. And don't be one of those people that buy at the top. You know, plan your purchases. Don't FOMO over it. You know, don't just jump all in and get stung. So yeah, those are my thoughts on gold and silver. I'd be curious to hear what yours are. Feel free to leave a comment. You know, it's just where my mindset is right now. the last month I've been really itching to pull the trigger and make a nice sizable purchase, and big enough that I plan on driving across the border to pick it up. But hopefully that'll be Monday. So any of you, my regulars here, you know, maybe in the next month or so, you can expect to see a pretty decent influx of mainly silver and maybe a little gold. But I want to buy some low premium silver, nice quality low premium silver, stock up, because, you know, I'm not thinking of my business, I'm thinking of for myself. Of course I will, it'll be offered for sale through the business, but I plan on stocking up. You know, back to Bald Guy Money, start watching his videos if you don't already. He's calling for 66 USD in silver by the end of next year. So that's about what, $90 Canadian? That's almost a double of where we are now, right? And he's probably being pretty conservative in his thoughts. Now, I know we've heard this a lot from other people in the past, but this guy's made some uncanny predictions since I've been watching him, and he's always bang on. So I got a lot of faith in this guy. So yeah, anytime I just need some reassurance, I'll watch one of his older videos, because what he says is going to happen, it happens. And it's usually, he's not predicting like years or months out. He's usually saying, hey, I think next week we're going to see a drop or a rise in the metals. I'm doing this because of it, blah, 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 blah. You know, like, and he's always right on with his predictions. And just this morning in his video, he was talking about an indicator that tells us we could be off to the races. Something that just happened last week. And that is, gold and silver were down, but the miners ended the week up. And he shows instances in the past where when that happens, that's it. What happens after that is amazing. Okay? You're going to see gold and silver start to take off from here. The miners, the same. And the whole topic of this video was, should I be selling all my gold and silver to buy miners? Because, you know, you can make a lot of money in a stock, right? Like, if you catch the right miner at the right time, you can make 10x, even 100x your money. Look in the late 70s. There were mining companies that went up 100, 500 times. No joke. It could happen again. But what I really agree with what he said was, no, don't be selling all your precious metals to jump into mining. It's a speculative play. It's okay to put some money into it, but don't get greedy, guys. You know what they say, you know, pigs get slaughtered, right? Don't be greedy. Be smart. Because I'll tell you, in personal experience, I've done stupid things like that in the past myself. I was in Bitcoin before 2017. I remember converting a lot of precious metals into the cryptos. And in 2017, the bottom fell out and everything crashed 95%. I lost a lot of money. You know? And then a few years later, Bitcoin was back up to about, I think, $2,500. I was thinking of buying back in, and I should have, because then it ran up to, look where it is now. But my point is, it's speculation, it's gambling. So, just like when you go out to the casino, play responsibly, right? You take a little bit of money, something you can afford to lose, and you gamble with it. That's how I look at stocks, or Bitcoin. For me, owning physical precious metals is not a gamble, especially gold. To me, gold is king. You know, it was just not too long ago they made gold a tier 1 asset, which means on the bank books, owning $100,000 of gold is like owning $100,000 of cash. It gets full credit value. It never used to be like that, but now it is. And another thing a lot of people may or may not realize is that a few years ago, governments throughout the world implemented new laws, and it's called a bail-in law. You know, in the past, when banks get into trouble, you know, there's a bailout. The government runs to the rescue. You know, the Federal Reserve, they'll print a bunch of money and lend these banks the money necessary to stay afloat. Otherwise, they would go bankrupt. But now there's laws where it's like they can do a bail-in instead. You know, your money in your bank account, it's not your money. The bank owns it. You're just a creditor. You know? And if things were to get bad, they could take your money and then say, sorry about your luck. And they'd probably give you some useless bank stock in return. Right? That's what can happen. A lot of people don't realize it. They say, oh, well, I'm insured. Yeah, but you know what? When a catastrophe happens, your money's not going to be protected when it happens to every bank. There's not going to be enough insurance to cover it. And so you'll lose your money, even if you think it's insured. And again, that's just my 2 cents worth, my belief. Will we ever see stuff like that in North America? I don't know. But it doesn't really matter. You know, it's like prepping for an emergency. You know, we have household insurance. Not because we think our house is going to burn down one day, but it's insurance in case the unlikelihood of it happening happens. Owning precious metals is the same thing. Nobody wants to live in a Mad Max world. Don't think that'll ever happen, but you know, we could go through a very tough time. Like there could be some kind of a currency reset, and in that time we could see a few months or more of very hard living if you're not prepared. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. So I'm not sure if you believe everything that I believe, but that's okay. It's just me expressing my opinion today. I thought it was an important topic to discuss. Little heads up, just how I'm thinking about precious metals right now. Like, I really want to put it in order. And if you're thinking about buying some metals, you might want to think about it as well. We've got gold, we've got silver, and hey, if you're looking to sell, I'm always looking to buy. You know, right now, there's a competitor in town here. They just lowered their buy rates for silver. You know, they used to pay like a spot price for 1 ounce rounds. Now they're paying like 96% of spot. They're more established in the city and probably get a lot of business, and a lot of people are probably selling to them. Because people have lost faith, or maybe they just need the money. You know, times are hard, and precious metals like silver is at an all-time high in Canadian dollars. So why not take advantage of that? Get some money, right? If you need it. But yeah, we're always buying. Even if I'm overstocked, I'll buy. Maybe I have to lower my buy rate a little bit, but I'll be honest and upfront about that. You know, things are liquid in this business. Like the demand, the supply, it's always changing. We're living in volatile times now. Silver has $1 days up and down. Gold can have a $100 day up and down. So don't be too harsh on dealers like myself when we say, hey, I'm sorry, I might have to pay you an extra 50 cents under spot on, or 50 cents less on this item today if you want to sell it, because I'm overstocked and the markets are very volatile. Like really, let's think about it, guys. Come on, if silver jumps up $1.50 in a day and you want to unload 500 ounces, I may not be able to pay that $1.50 increase. Maybe I'll say, hey, look, I'll pay you $1. You know, I need a bit of a discount, because usually big jumps like that, the next day it could correct back down. Like it could go up $1.50 one day, drop $1 the next. Anyways, I digress. I'm sorry. I don't need to get into the philosophical ends of the business. But I'm just saying, you know, like, I will change my prices from time to time. I'm always adjusting my prices. I'm always tweaking, trying to make them competitive and fair. And at the same time, allow me to stay in business. But yeah, so there you have it. I just give you my comments off the cuff, nothing scripted, it's all raw. So please feel free to chime in and leave a comment, add to this video, because I'm sure there's a lot of things I could have discussed that I haven't. Just the two things I wanted. The takeaways from this video is simple. It's just, you know, I wanted to introduce you to Bald Guy Money if you haven't already started watching his videos, and the fact that, you know, something that he's proven through charts is that September is when metals go back up. So if you've been thinking about buying and you've been putting it off, you might want to join me and make a small purchase yourself. That said, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I really enjoy where the things are headed with my business. You know, I'm getting some regulars now. You guys are watching my videos, you're commenting, you're coming to down to the shop on a Saturday, and it's really nice to speak with you guys. You know, like the people in this community are just a great bunch of people. You know, they get it, and it's nice to talk to like-minded individuals, because let's face it, 99% of the people out there, they don't get it. They don't own precious metals. If they do, it's by accident. They got an old Canadian dime or something. You know what I mean? Like, they don't understand true money. With that said, thanks again, guys. Keep stacking. Take care. Until next time, bye for now.